Hey guys, Cdrama Invasion here. Welcome back to a new video. I finally wrapped up watching so many recent dramas that aired. Most of them are K-dramas, but we're just gonna talk about those ones later on to the end, the final reviews, since we did first impressions already. And I think from now on, I think I'll flip the order. So dramas that I haven't talked about will be in the front of the videos or the beginning of the videos, and then we'll continue on to final reviews just later on. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. There's lots of dramas to talk about. First off, let's talk about Pachinko. So Pachinko is a drama that's a collaboration with, I think, Vancouver. So basically Canadian and South Korea, and it's aired on Apple TV. This one has 8 episodes. It stars Lee Min-ho and a newer actress. And just from the first episode alone, I think they dropped 3 episodes, and I would say that was the perfect way to hook someone, because I feel with just the first episode alone, it might be confusing. This is, I would say it's a very melodramatic, historical, and powerful piece that transcends generations, and it's just very powerful and impactful. We'll talk about it. So just based off of first initial reactions, my note says that it's not even halfway through, and I had so many good things to say. The first episode was breathtaking. It was very atmospheric. You feel sucked into this world, and you just really start feeling for the characters just right from the beginning. The quality of this drama is so beautiful, and it's just stunning to watch. I really do need to read the novel. I think it's based off of the same name of a American Korean writer, and actually it's kind of funny because after this drama aired, I saw a piece of news that went up and said that a lot of Korean fans and other Asian fans were looking for translations of the novel. However, they couldn't find it just because it's not official and it runs into copyright reasons. So a lot of the times you see this problem with international fans wanting to read a novel based off of either Chinese dramas or a webtoon or something, and sometimes it's not translated to English. So it's just a little bit interesting to see how the tables have turned, and now it's the opposite thing is happening. So that's just saying how well this drama has done in international views, and also Korea and Asia as well. I understand though how some people might find this boring. It's not your typical fast-paced drama at all. It's definitely very character driven, and right from the start I think you would find out it's mostly about the female lead character Sungja, and then you see her in the future too, and her ancestors, and how everything just connects together later on, and it's pretty great and kind of mind-blowing. This, rather than any drama, I feel I would describe it as a real history documentary, and it was very well done, heartbreaking, brilliant, beautiful, raw, and you definitely don't see the romanticized version at all, which had me quite shocked. And also Lee Min-ho's character, you'll be surprised, he's not your typical, we all know he's the biggest Hallyu star in Korea for a very long time after Boys Over Flowers, and he has just a reputation. And I'm just so glad that he picked up this drama, because it's nothing like he's ever done. I think this and City Hunter might be his best performances. And surprisingly, he plays a very smaller role. As I said, it's the woman at the forefront of this drama. And even though there's a lot of rave about Lee Min-ho and his acting, he's great, of course, I was honestly here for the iconic granny Yoon Ye-jung. I believe she just landed her Oscar after decades in the field, and she's just phenomenal in every single role she plays. This one is just, it looks very gritty on camera at times, and it just shows how life was back then, super brutal. And it's about immigration, it's about all these social aspects, social issues such as gender inequality, racism, etc. It wasn't perfect. There's some moments where I thought the pacing was a little bit off, and it was kind of confusing sometimes when they keep on going back and forth from the present day versus the past, which is where actually majority of the drama unfolds. So there were moments where I thought it would have been nice if this was 10 episodes long, just because I would feel more connected to the characters. But then they just switch channels, and then they go to, let's say, the grandson's character, who's at the moment you don't feel too strongly about compared to Sungja. Once again, the Korean cast is just perfection. The opening song is just so great. They're dancing around. It's just very retro and wholesome and cute. And it's very contrasted with the themes later on. I would just overall say that this drama is a very meaningful one. It's very powerful. And at the very end of the season, they did announce season 2. And also there was this moment that was the most unforgettable, I think, ending scene in a lot of dramas I've ever watched. And it's a scene where all the sound cuts out, everything fades to black. And then there's just like they're listing facts. And then they show you the real interviews of people that actually lived through this, and some of their realities were even worse than Sungja. Totally emotional, very powerful piece. Poverty, history, all these social issues. Highly recommend it. And if not, watch, I would say, just like the first 3 episodes as they first aired it and see if you enjoyed it. I definitely did, and I gave this a 9.5 out of 10, just 0.5 for some little issues here and there, but overall still enjoyed it so much. Thought it was a beautiful piece. Oh my gosh, I spent like 6 minutes on this drama alone. Okay, next let's go to Monstrous. Monstrous is a K-drama that is basically about a haunted Buddhist statue that goes to this small town, and people start getting affected, and then you'll see from there, without any spoilers, what happened. This was only 6 episodes, and surprisingly, it wasn't even 1 hour long per episode. It was literally like 35 minutes an episode. And for me, the pacing was fine and it was good until I would say like the last 2 episodes. I had a little bit of an issue there. It was still good all the way through, but I wish that we explored more of the characters, and I feel like I would have cared a little bit more about certain characters, and yeah, that would just amp up the intensity. For sure, I would say that if you don't like gruesome, bloody dramas, if you are kind of like not into the graphic and violent dramas, don't watch this one. If you liked All of Us Are Dead, I would say this is very similar to that. It's like the same level of violence, etc. I think All of Us Are Dead did do a better job just because there's some longer episodes that let you explore these side characters a little bit more. But overall, I really enjoyed Monstrous. I don't have too much to say about it. There's just one really frustrating drawback is the female lead, where she doesn't really come up until like the later half, but the female lead, she definitely does things that are just so frustrating. The male lead literally tells her not to do this thing just because there's going to be consequences, but she does it anyways. And as you predict, there's going to be consequences. There was one specific like scene that was just really wild and claustrophobic and was just so well done. It's like this bus scene where it tips over and then just chaos ensues. That scene, I think, is one of the most like nerve-wracking and just craziest scenes that just stands out in this drama. If you like a little bit of supernatural horror mystery, then check this one out. It's like a very good time. It's pretty entertaining. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, it was a pretty solid month. I'm so happy that I had a couple of weeks off and I got to watch all these dramas, catch up and finish them. Next is a 10 episode BL fantasy drama called Cupid's Last Wish, and I think this one stars a very popular pairing that already worked together before. I think it's like the most popular BL on my drama list in so many websites, called like A Tale of 1,000 Stars, which I heard great things about, but unfortunately I didn't watch it yet. However, Cupid's Last Wish is a drama about 2 best friends, and basically it's set in the very rural setting. You see a farm owner, I think a dairy farm owner, and it follows their house and how there's like this scene at the beginning where a misunderstanding happens where the father passes away, and then he gives a lot of the money not to the son himself, but to the best friend character, which caused so much drama. And yeah, it flash forwards to so many years later where there's just animosity between them, but honestly it's like almost, I think, like a misunderstanding thing. But the male lead just refuses to listen or even interact with the ex-best friend. And one day when he's just like driving in a fit of anger with his sister, and this is where their bodies swap. So like they do the whole soul swap thing, and the only way to get your proper soul back into your body is to go to like 7 different temples around the country and collect holy water, basically. And then the monk kind of like pushes the two to go together, just because one is like the protector and the other one, without each other, they're going to be in like very dangerous situations. Apparently, they're just going to draw a lot of evil, or just terrible things will happen to them if they're on their own. I would say, despite the flaws of this drama, mostly dealing with the male lead being very stubborn, having like major anger issues, and taking it out on his mom and his poor sister. I get it that he's traumatized, but he was just really terrible at the start. It's definitely played up and is on purpose, because he does have a redemption arc, and it's basically a journey of reconciling with each other and just moving on, trying to grow from it. I thought that there's lots of moments that were super funny, and I really liked the setting and the cinematic feeling of this. It's just very beautiful. You see like the sunsets, you see land, temple, water, all these beautiful nature things. I thought compared to a lot of BLs, this was very interesting. This was super addictive, and the acting was quite good. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, now on to the final reviews of dramas that I briefly talked about before. So F4 Thailand, I forgot to report that in the last episode, but yeah, I finished it as well, and I still think this is the most beautiful, non-toxic version, and the male lead was just really great here. They really took their time with the show to show how guilty he is, and props to the actors. There's a lot of moments where you can just tell he was uncomfortable, even though he's kind of doing these terrible things. And I do think he did his best to atone and make up for it for the people that he hurt. The sweet moments here are truly touching, like on a different level. It's not just like the surface level cute. There's lots of moments where you can just tell how much Thyme, the male lead, loves Gorya. Their interactions are very natural thanks to the script. It's not all emotional or sweet. They also throw in bits of comedy here and there. Her making fun of him. She's honestly such a savage, and it's really funny. The second couple's story is just so adorable and sweet too. One of my favorite things is just the fact that Kevin calls Kenning Chipmunk. It's just way too adorable. I do feel bad for the other two guys, especially Ren, who definitely, you see him more though, but MJ, he literally has barely any plot line. He's there for like supporting, and he literally just has like one line an episode, and it's kind of funny that they use him like KFC side story to write his like romance story, which was really cheesy and funny. The thing with Thai dramas is there's so many blatant advertisements that are so funny. Like they try to weave it in the show. They have characters of the drama try to like make it canon. I mean, 10 out of 10 for creativity. I really like the inner monologues of the characters as well. Episode 12's ending was stunning. I love that there's a certain quote that I wrote down, and it says that, as Lita says, love is strange, it creates a lot of things. But what I learned is that once you pass one test, another one is around the corner. You just have to keep going, because this is life. It never ends. No matter how hard we run, we must face it in the end. Every single one of us. So beautiful, so true, and there's just so many moments that similar like writing comes up, and I'm like, that was awesome, that's beautiful. I really thought the second male lead character is just so sincere, and he's just wants the best for his friends, and I think all of them do, which is why this drama version shines so much compared to the other Boys Over Flowers. Of course, because this is like one of the best Boys Over Flowers adaptations, you can't discredit the other one. So like they learned from the other mistakes, and they went for a deeper, darker, more realistic and touching route, and I really appreciate that. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Okay, next is The King of Pigs. This one was actually wild. The acting is just phenomenal, so well written. I raved about it so much from the first 2 episodes, because it was one of those dramas where I watched the first episode and I knew that this, like if they keep it up, it's gonna be like one of my favorite dramas of all time. And honestly, I'm so happy with every single decision made. I saw comments that started rating it lower because of the ending, but for me, I'm a very storytelling person where I just look at it from a character analysis point of view, from storytelling. If it makes sense for the character, I'm totally okay with that. Once again, I just want to say that if you love deep character analysis, just like those really complex characters that make you think a lot, and this drama is definitely one of them, but there's also like very interesting conversations and things that come up, like mystery and stuff. Of course, if you like that genre, go for it too. I love the nuance that is put into the story and the characters. It really makes you think about every single character, the good guy, the bad guy, and the way that you react. It's kind of impossible to judge any of the characters, actually. You think of them, you ask questions such as, is this a monster or is it a broken soul? Does his story give him an excuse for revenge? Should we help him or should we condemn him? And do these victims deserve redemption, knowing the things that they caused? So this is very much a bullying story, and a lot of these things happen. You hear about it all the time on the news these days, I think in Asia, where people, celebrities or some people just come out with the news that this person bullied them and they shouldn't be living the best life, I guess, being so successful while they hurt so many people. And this is a very extreme case, of course, but it does show how much trauma it causes to the victims and just how terrible teens and children could be to each other. And these are like kids that are suffering for no reason at all. And when they try to get help, everyone failed them, especially the adults around them as well, not just the kids. Everyone was just turning a blind eye to it, or just thinking, oh, kids are kids, you know, like it's not that bad. Stop being so dramatic. Like, don't make a big deal out of it. Frustrating, but very realistic. Let me just say the entire cast is just phenomenal, especially the younger actors. Honestly, I would just get PTSD from acting in this drama itself. The scenes are so brutal, some of the darkest and most gruesome scenes I've ever watched. It's definitely on another level, super invested in the characters, brilliant. The only complaint a lot of people might have is that the female lead character doesn't do a lot. But it all works out because you see why they kind of built up her character and why she's a necessary voice to the story, because everyone else is so traumatized or they're not willing to reveal the truth. Her voice and her discovery is definitely like the most objective one, I would say. Everyone else has like very close ties to it. So it's interesting to see her standpoint, discovering everything and solving it bits and pieces as we get the flashbacks of the drama itself and putting things together in a more cohesive and maybe more objective way. The pacing for this drama is absolutely perfection. Excellent execution in general. I thought that the reveals here were just expertly done with so much backstory for everyone. Even if you can predict certain aspects of it, I feel like you'll still love this drama. Episode 11 and 12 were probably the best episodes. It was just non-stop intensity, action, the plot was moving like wild. It was engaging all the way through. Overall, I really cannot say anything bad about this drama. It's heavy, it's intense, it's deep, filled with thought-provoking real-life issues. Without a doubt, 10 out of 10 will be going into my personal favorites dramas forever. It was truly an experience and very eye-opening, tragic, intense, unforgettable drama. From this entire video, if you had to pick two dramas, I would say watch this one and Pachinko, just really powerful stuff. Next drama is Crazy Love. This one I don't have too much to say about because I said everything in the first portion. I thought that it was just such a fun drama. Overall, it's like crazy at first, literally just as the title says. This is a crazy ride. It's full of unpredictable moments, super fun and wacky, and it came at a perfect time, which is why I might rate it a little bit higher than other people. This is because I was pretty sick, feeling down, and this drama really got me through some of the worst parts of getting sick and just staying at home and feeling dreary and terrible. The one thing that I would agree that is a negative is that this drama Second couple is just really annoying. I don't really care about the best friend or the brother. I thought their romance was cringe, and yeah. If you're looking for a more comedic drama, I would definitely check this one out. Also, the leads are stunning together. They look great. I loved their cute and wholesome scenes later on, and that their romance was not that complicated. After they fell in love, it was like they both really believed in each other, not too much misunderstandings or any of your typical tropes. It's a good time all around, 9 out of 10. Last but not least is Military Prosecutor Doberman. Honestly, there was a moment where I really enjoyed this, and there's like lots of back and forth feelings, for me at least. There were some scenes where I was like getting kind of sick of it, like it's not really going nowhere, and it's not as interesting in the later half, which is probably more because I was watching these fast-paced other dramas compared to this one, and it was still interesting overall. But another big critique that I had was like, how did nobody notice the female lead's disguise is so obvious? She doesn't even bother trying to hide her face. She literally just wears a red wig and goes around beating people up. And the fact that all these people were so like high profile people that she beat up, I'm like, somebody should have like caught on to it, but nobody did. It was just a little bit repetitive after a while. I think this would have been a great 13 or 14 episode drama, maybe even 12 episodes. But overall, the acting was great, specifically from the male lead's character. I thought he was just so natural. I would give this one a 7 out of 10. And that wraps it up for this episode. I do have to say that the next, I think, 1 or 2 videos I'm going to put out is the ranking videos, and I actually forgot to put the King of Pigs on that list, which I feel terrible for, but as you can tell with the rating, it's definitely going to go to like my all-time favorites, which is the top tier in that list. I'll most likely add it to the part 2 video, which will probably come out in July, because I decided to do like 3 parts. We split the year into 3, so like every 4 months I'll be covering another ranking video. I've also been watching Mouse, which is like the most popular recommendation on lots of websites if you like the King of Pigs. I'm enjoying it. I might make a first impressions on it, or just wait until that whole thing comes out and talk about it. But yeah. What are you guys watching lately, and which dramas are you interested in this episode to check out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.